All right, folks. First, there was the alleged plastic rice, and a few weeks ago it was bad beef, well, bad bully beef or corned beef. So here to put the topic of food safety on the table is Managing Director of Technological Solutions, Dr. Andre Gordon. Morning, sir. Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Morning,
let's start there. What's Technological Solutions?
Technological Solutions Limited is a 20-year-old company, 20-year-old this year, that focuses on helping producers from the Caribbean export their products into various markets around the world. And one of the key elements of that is meeting the regulatory requirements to get into those markets, and then meeting the requirements of the buyers in those markets, big buyers like Walmart and
So you
Publix.
work for people kind of thing?
So we work for all the farmers, exporters,
Right.
manufacturers, and so on throughout the Caribbean who want to get their goods
What
into
have been
other
some of the
markets.
challenges that we've faced in exporting our food over the past 10 years?
Well, there have been challenges of competitiveness, but that we've tried to fix by helping people do things better. Mm-hmm. One of the major challenges now is simply meeting the regulatory requirements to get into the market, and a lot of these are food safety and based. And then the buyers have food safety requirements and quality requirements. So that is why a lot of our focus has been improving the food safety and complying, and then making sure they meet the quality requirements.
What do you mean by food safety?
Food safety, most people in Jamaica, every now and then we get a little diarrhea, and we don't know why, and it's not a big deal. Well, in the U.S., 48 million people get sick from food every year. 128,000 of them end up in hospital, and 3,000 die. It costs the U.S. economy $77.7 billion a year just dealing with that. We don't capture those figures, so we don't know. Because of that, it's a major, major driver for the US, Canada, and the UK, which are our major markets. So when we talk about food safety, we mean making sure the food that you eat will not make you sick.
Do these come in grades, doctor, like an A grade, B grade, C grade? Because I know that different foods have grading systems. And I've heard that food that comes into Jamaica is not necessarily all the time an A grade product.
That's correct.
So tell us about the A, B, C, D grading of food safety.
So that's the difference between safety and quality. Safety is absolute. It's either safe or unsafe.
Okay.
Right.
With quality, you can have different grades, and the quality is sometimes related to the price or maybe preferences. Okay. Quality is really consumer preference. So once you hear grading, it's really a quality grade.
Not a
because safety
issue.
Is either safe or unsafe. There's no gray
I don't know
area.
if you know because you live here, but what went on, double-barrel question,
Yeah.
what went on with the, I'll say bully beef,
Yes.
everybody knows that, in Brazil, why there was an issue, and the second part of the double-barrel, why we don't make it out here?
Okay. Well, the corned beef issue was really what we call a food fraud issue, and efforts by some unscrupulous processors to use beef that should not be used.
From where it came from?
In Brazil, yes.
Where it came from.
To make product. In other words, beef that didn't meet the requirements, some spoiled, some just poor quality, try to rehabilitate it and use it instead of dumping it. And that is what caused the problem. Which the government in Brazil has a very rigorous scheme. It shouldn't have happened, so they've clamped down on it.
And we caught it? Or it...
No. It actually somebody, as usual, some health inspector broke the news.
Caught it from
in
there.
Brazil, yes.
Okay.
Brazil was the one who raised
Okay,
it, but it
okay.
spiraled out of control.
Well, all right, before the second part, let me jump back in on that. So it could have got here, and we would not have known, or when it comes, we test it, or what?
A lot of food gets to the region that is not of the best quality and sometimes not safe. And that is why now there's a global move on to inform everybody. Whenever there's a recall in the U.S., we normally hear the Bureau of Standards, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture have systems in place to try to inform.
Who's
Sorry,
responsible?
let me just go back now to why we don't make it here.
Okay, the bully beef or corned beef.
Yeah.
Really, it's a matter of volume. I mean, our cattle industry is just recovering. It's been struggling. You need millions of pounds of low-grade beef. Millions
So
to make corned beef.
So we need plenty cow.
We would need
So we can't
a lot
breed
of
them,
cows.
so?
Well, it would take many, many years for us to
Really?
even begin. So to make it commercially, we'd have to import Just as we do for some bacon, you know, we import some of the pork, we'd have to import the briskets and those parts.
Even for local consumption?
Even for local consumption.
Really?
You don't have enough, because to make it, you know, the investment high, it costs a lot of money to put the plant in. So you need to run a lot every day.
Okay.
So that is really why it's no other reason why we don't make it.
You mentioned about the plant. Let's go into that. A plant, a processing space for our food to be of safe quality for export. Let's start with some other products now that we have. Coconut water.
Yes.
And let's look at processing that for export. What are the safety issues or things that you or your team has seen implemented to be able to build that industry?
So essentially, in about 2004, the UN Food and Agricultural Organization approached us and a colleague to do some work on coconut water. At the time, we were getting about 2-3 days in Jamaica for bottled water. They wanted us to do some work to help extend the shelf life, improve the processing, and also improve the quality of the coconut water. So we did work with Dr. Josie Jackson, who is now at Michigan State, here and in St. Vincent. She was originally from St. Vincent. And to cut a long story short, what we were able to do is identify what was causing the problem and put systematic approaches in place, so that now the shelf life of, now you have bottled coconut water everywhere. The shelf life is about 10 days, 10 to 12 days.
This is without preservative.
This is without preservative.
But some of them that you get in the supermarkets, they do put something in there, don't they?
Apparently some people do, but that is probably because they haven't read, the FAO produced a definitive guide to the bottled coconut water. The United Nations FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, out of the work that we did, produced a guide that is used globally in the Far East, in Ghana and elsewhere.
You said something to me before we came on, but I want you to go back there. So you were suggesting, because I said I don't like necessarily the bottled one.
Right.
So I kind of carry my own bottle sometimes. I might put it in, or we have a friend here that helps me out sometimes. But you're suggesting that if we drink it straight, not a problem. But if I take that same one and just put it in the fridge, I might have an issue with it.
It probably won't make you sick, but it will spoil.
Why?
That's because when they cut it just like that, the moment they cut through the outer husk, all the bacteria that are on the outside of the coconut go straight to the inside. So when they pour in the water, it's pouring the water and bacteria.
Then it's not the same thing if them cut it and give it to me and I go and drink it.
Yes, but those bacteria won't make you sick when you drink it straight. Go into your stomach and our system can deal with it. These are not bacteria that make you sick. What they do is use the sugars in the water to ferment it, to make wine or spoil it, essentially. That's why coconut water, if you leave it on the counter or anywhere, just at room temperature, goes sour because of the bacteria. They won't make you sick, but they'll spoil it.
So you are now saying I can cut that coconut, and if it is done properly, that coconut can last me 10 days.
If once it's how it's produced commercially, which is one of the things we focus on and cover in detail in the book.
Let's go to that book, Food Safety and Quality Systems in Developing Countries. Mr. Bell, you need volume 1 and volume 2, edited by Dr. Gordon, so you can know what to do with your coconut.
I edit the entire volume, but I also write many of the chapters.
So take us through, what does this book explore?
Okay. Essentially what this book does, it speaks about food safety, which a lot of people don't know about. And some of the major problems we've had with things like mango, that can make you sick, pawpaw, fruits and vegetables. And then it goes into details as to how companies have implemented systems to get their products into other markets. The how-to is what we focus on. So like for coconut water, it covers everything.
It's so funny, sorry, can I just say, as you said that, I opened the page without knowing, and look where I ended up, page 50.
Water.
And this would obtain for right across the world.
The book actually is distributed globally. It was written for Jamaica. No, it's not written for Jamaica.
Not page 50, page 210 people. I just can't believe I opened to that. But it shows you here how to fill them into.
That's right. This is the process.
The coconut water thing is interesting because I always thought that it was done in about 2-3 days.
No, if done properly, you unrefrigerate.
But that is the key, though. If done properly, but how would the consumer know that, though? How I will know whether
is the good question? Is there a mark on the local bottles that says? What is it called? FD? What's approval?
Well, it would be the Bureau of Standards or the Ministry of Health, but they're in a funny position. They can't certify because the shelf life is
Right.
so short.
Right.
Right. And that is why we made the effort, and the FAO have put this book together. And actually, we cover a lot more than the FAO does because we did the work. So things they didn't include, we have included in one chapter.
Boy, we have to
coconut
go.
water.
But you know your stuff, sir.
Yeah.
Some of the things I didn't know, you explained it quite simply and brilliantly. Thank you.
I'd like to invite people. We are going to launch this book tomorrow at the Knutsford Court at 5.
Okay.
It's open to the public, and it's the how-to of producing a range of products for export.
But we want local bully beef still. I will find some cow.
Why
Good
not
to
make
see you, sir.
some local
Cow?
bully chicken?
He's the managing director of Technological Solutions Limited, Dr. Andre Gordon.
Doc, we can do that, right? Bully chicken.
That's